Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica. All right, so I just got done reading the Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica. And now why did I do that? Well, I own it. And if I own a Dungeons & Dragons book, I read it. So why do I... Now, wait. Scott, why do you own Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica? Did you buy it because you wanted to read it? Did you buy it because you wanted to own it? Absolutely not. I have no desire to own the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, right? And the reason why was, it's got steampunk in it. It's a steampunk book. It's a steampunk setting, and to me, that is jack all of nothing, and it is not D&D. All right? And so my take is that Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is really not a Dungeons & Dragons setting, right? It's got Dungeons & Dragons official ampersand on it, right? But it's not. That was my concept, is that this is not Dungeons & Dragons, right? So I didn't want to own this book. I didn't want to read this. So how did I end up with it, right? Well, I love Dungeons & Dragons. I just love Dungeons & Dragons. So so my collection is I'm building a Dungeons & Dragons collection, right? And I'm doing it by chunks, right? And so the first thing I did was I got every PHB, every DM, I got every PHB, every DMG, every MM in every version, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I got the red box and the blue box, right? From the 80s, right? And then I got the Orange Spine Easleys, which is the Dungeons & Dragons 1E hardback books that have the orange spine and a Jeff Easley cover. They are bar none. I think those are the Dungeons & Dragons collectibles I own that I'm most proud of. They are just absolutely gorgeous. I really love them. They're very special to me, right? Then, because Dungeons & Dragons 5e is my primary game, and I play it 51% or more, and it's the most important game to me, right? I decided that I was going to get every Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition book. That is a massive, massive undertaking. It's probably going to be well over $1,000, right? And it's taking months. It'd probably take over a year to get it done, right? Because I got 4 kids. I can't just buy all these things, right? So not at once. I have to get them. And so the only way I get them is the ways I get these books is I get these books through, I specifically get these books through birthday presents, Christmas presents, and Father's Day, right? And then also I will buy them with my own spending money every now and then. I only get $60 every 2 weeks. That's my spending money, right? And I could go out to eat, and I do go constant. I don't always have the money, right? So I got this thing, I read it, and here's what it surprised me. Here's what I think Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is. This is what I think it is now, having read it cover to cover, okay? It is, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is the saddest book in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, by far. And the reason why is, people talk about the Tyranny of Dragon books. There was 2 books at the very beginning, it was the Tyranny, and the 2 of them combined are the Tyranny of Dragons. And people will just say it's really amateur. They were amateur hour. Not because they were amateur hour compared to what we have today, right? And the effort and the quality and all that, we didn't have an established mark for 5th edition. We have an incredible quality mark now for 5th edition. And so what happened is, but what really amazed me when I read Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is this was not a one-cheeked attempt at creating a Dungeons & Dragons setting book. This thing, the art is amazing. Not because any Dungeons & Dragons artist did it, but because it came from Magic the Gathering artists who are literally the best in the world, right? So at Fantasy Art. The layout is spectacular, right? The writing is really good. James Wyatt and Jeremy Crawford did this book, and they worked their butts off on this thing. It is extremely well written. The layout is fantastic. The art is fantastic. And it is an incredibly well-crafted book that no one should play. And the reason, and I don't even need to tell people that, because nobody is playing it. People are just like, D&D ain't steampunk. Reject. And so I think the lesson learned from Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica is you can have the best art, the best layout, the best writing, but if you fail on theme, it's all for naught. It's all for naught, right? So I would highly suggest you buy Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica if you want to complete your collection of 5th edition. But that's it. That's the only reason I think anybody should own this book. And I am sad for James Wyatt and Jeremy Crawford for every minute they spent on it, because it is unplayable, in my opinion. Because if you deign to play it, you say that Dungeons & Dragons is steampunk, which it's not. So that's my 2 cents. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.